went, right? And they kept on getting it and they would bathe and his family's like, what's the deal, Peter, you know?
Yeah.
And they said it never empties. It never goes empty. And I brought some back, of course, you know, everybody goes out there, buy little containers and
Yeah.
stuff, you know? But
Brother went, I kind of wanted to do it spring.
it's neat. The only thing I wasn't, over there, everything is pozole. If you're not accustomed to pozole, breakfast, lunch and supper, it's like beans for us, you know? like- No, he asked me where, I don't know that, I don't know, I have to go back and look at it. I don't know, because it's you just flushed out, so now it's.
Oh, there we go. Lorena Escalili made a big pot of, it was so,
Of pozole? No, this is just the pozole. This isn't the. It's.
Ready? Constituting a quorum, I'd like to call to order the monthly meeting of the Recreation and Parks Board of the City of Port Oviedo. The first item on our agenda is general discussion and hear statements from citizens. Any general discussion items?
Yeah.
Okay, I would ask you to mark your calendars for February 28th for our next meeting. Same time, same place. There's no other items, we'll move on. Item 2, approve minutes from the regular meeting held December 18th, 2024.
So moved.
Motion to
A second.
have a second, all in favor? Aye. Next item on the agenda, item 3. Receive Parks and Recreation's operations and maintenance report from the Director of Public Works.
Okay, as I handed out to everybody, this is our quarterly report for the Parks Department. It's a whole lot easier and more comprehensive to do a quarterly report than it is a monthly because there are some months nothing other than mowing gets done. So if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to just stick with the quarterly because then you get a more comprehensive report of what we've done.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that myself. The only thing I should say is that we need to make sure that we put it on the agenda as such. And so, are you going to be the one to ask Lorena to do that on whichever months you're doing the quarterly report or
Yes,
established time?
I will send her the quarterly report at the same time I send the quarterly report to Mandy for council.
I move that we adopt the quarterly report as a,
Pardon?
I move that we adopt the quarterly report as a report from.
Yeah, I think that's going to be okay because we just end up discussing each of the parks if we have any specifics when we go through our.
It's easier for Wayne and I move that we accept it.
Okay.
I do the quarterly report.
I have a motion.
I'll second it.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, just for clarification, so do you want me just to do it, you're gonna do January? What months are you gonna do it? So I can.
Okay, it'll be really just like the council. This is from October to December. So
7.
the next one will be January, February, March, so the next one. will be-
So is that item number 4, where it says monthly inspections report from you?
No, that's
Number 3?
number 3.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I'll take that agenda item off, and I would just keep it on those given months.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's gonna be quarterly. Okay.
Anyhow, that simplifies.
Had the motion and the second, it passed unanimously for those who were in attendance.
And as you can see, this was just, this quarterly report was mostly just the basic stuff that the guys do. They spend most of their time working on the events, and we're doing some maintenance issues that they can only do when they don't spend all their time mowing. So we're repairing lights on the boardwalk, and they're supposed to be helping clean the paint off the inside of the lighthouse. Just basic maintenance stuff. So there's, other than what's on the list, there's nothing of importance to note as it pertains to that agenda item. There are other things that we'll discuss in further agenda items.
So basically, this one here is gonna be a lot about the same thing, maintaining all the city parks, maintaining.
Yeah, it's
Quarterly.
As a community center.
Yeah,
Really not part of,
Yeah.
parks.
but basically.
It's not part of our parks board. purview, so.
Yep,
Maintenance every time.
every quarter, yeah, the bird sanctuary too now, I see that. Okay. All righty, sir.
Okay. Are there any questions about any of these items? Anything you need to highlight, Wayne?
Move that we accept the quarterly report.
Second,
I'm not sure we needed a motion for that, but we can vote on it. Go ahead. All in favor?
aye.
Moving on then to item 4, receive monthly inspections report from the Public Works Department. Are there any items in that to highlight?
No, other than some disciplinary action that's gonna take place over numerous inspections that show something's wrong that hasn't been addressed. Which is not. That's something we're working through right now, but the broken and missing screws were addressed in a quarterly report. They replaced 12 handles at that specific playground because the screws were broke off. So other than that, there's nothing to add to that.
Thank you. Anything else on that? Next item on the agenda is item 5, receive update on park assignments for parks board members. Let's start with you.
Okay.
Kevin,
And yeah,
I knew it was.
yeah, called him Kevin Maga.
Where it looks good, I was going through the reports that you provide with us and y'all already answered concrete cracking. Certain spots, so, nothing really to harp on. I'm sure as this stuff melts and the ground temperature rises, I'm sure we're gonna get weeds and grass and a lot of little critters running through there as it warms up, so. But overall, that park stays in pretty good shape, so thank y'all for paying attention to that.
My plan is to remove that concrete ribbon and put an actual border like we have at other playgrounds up there.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I saw, and you've already got it annotated on y'all's inspection sheet, so we have no reason to pound that portion to the ground. Overall, good.
I'll go next. I just took drive-through Bayfront, and it looks fine, you know, especially for this time of the year. I had a report that I guess after the little bit of snow and ice we had, there were several times during the day yesterday, cars went down to the park and did donuts in the parking lot. And it was not something that they were down there long enough for somebody to report to the police department and have them catch them in time. They would go in, do a few donuts and then leave. And it wasn't the same cars all day long. It was different ones. But I've never heard of that report, that before, but ice on the parking lot and going out and doing donuts out there, I guess that's entertaining.
Well, Houston PD thought it was cool.
I thought so. I saw that too.
When I was a kid, that was something that we did. So depending on their age,
Yeah.
kids will be kids when it's slippery.
A snow day, no school.
I think the funniest one I saw was several months ago. It was probably 6 or 8 months ago. I was driving through the intersection over where Falcom is. And there were donuts in the intersection on Virginia and Highway 35. But it had to have been done during the wee hours of the morning or something when there was absolutely no traffic around, but
Did they do it in the grass or on the pavement?
no, it was on the pavement, but you could see the burn marks on the.
That was nice of them. We used to do it in the grass. I buried many a vehicle on golf greens.
Okay. I don't have anything else to say about Bayfront. It looked fine. How about City Park?
City Park looks good. I went out there and checked it out the other day and the door's back on. It could have been a better door, but a door is a door. And then I went to go check on the earlier and I saw the guys were out there, so I really didn't want to talk to them, but I wanted to talk to them. So I stopped and I talked to them and asked them about our water lines. They did say that there are some water lines that are broken and they're working on it. And also that the drains were frozen, so they really couldn't do so much. But I was wondering on the way over here, is there any way of turning off the water to the parks?
Yeah, I wasn't informed that we had broken water lines.
They just now found them in their defense, and I thanked them. They were very good. They were just letting Eddie know even. I was there maybe about 10 minutes till. So they were just letting him know what they inspected and found out.
I know why I wasn't told, because I told them on Monday to turn off the water to all the parks and drain the lines.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't know how many, because I asked him, I said, is there any water lines broken? He goes, I don't know. You know me, I have to go find out even deeper. So apparently in the utility room, they tried to break into it and they broke the lock or something and they couldn't get into it. And that's the reason I'm saying they were just now informing Eddie when I was there, because Eddie didn't even know about it. So maybe that's why he hasn't told you. And then, of course, he said, well, it's going to be lunch. I said, no, I understand. We got to eat. I mean, it's cold. And it's already done, the damage was done already, so.
The restrooms were supposed to be shut off and winterized prior to this.
Human error. But anyway, I was just wondering if there was. So apparently there is a cutoff valve. Other than that, the park looks good. I mean, there's still some ice and stuff on it, and the trash is all picked up. Overall, I think it looks good. I'm sorry I got the guys in trouble. I didn't know. Well, I mean, I didn't know. But I went to go check on the door. Then I saw the guys. Anyways, that's all I got.
Okay. Mary Lou?
Mine was good, clean, trash cans emptied. I don't know
George
how-
Adams.
Yeah, I don't know how much activity they have there, but
Looks
it
good.
was good. Mhm.
Okay, Greg?
Starting part looks good.
Bay Valley?
I drove by it a while ago, front and back. Everything looks good,
Yeah,
clean, cut.
I just drove past it a few minutes ago, and obviously the cold did damage to the plants that were out there. But we didn't put those plants in, right? Those were, somebody else put them in.
That's gonna happen. Yeah, unless you cover them, but I'll come.
Okay. All right, thank y'all for your reports. Next item on the agenda is item 6, receive financial status report from the Parks Recreation Department. Anything to highlight there between Wayne and Jody? Anything to highlight?
No, we're for the Parks Department financial report, we're still too early in the year for any in the budget year for anything of note. But there will be some things come up in the future.
Hopefully not.
Unless Jody has something.
Okay.
Okay, if there are any questions on the budget? Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll move on to the next item is to discuss financial reports at White House Beach Camp.
Okay, I wanted to bring this back up for discussion. I've attached, the copy of the spot report that been an eye on, looking at the total revenue. The campground since August, when the new rates went into effect. Spreadsheet shows comparison of the same data from 2004 and 2003. And you can see that there's been a dramatic decline in revenue since the rates and allowable stay were changed. Revenue generated over the past 5 months is over $41,000 less than that over the same period in 2023. I've attached the information that was reviewed at the time that the rates were adjusted last summer, as well as a copy of the changes that were made to the ordinance in June 2023. Now, we are trying to make some changes and improvements in getting people to the park. We have, one of the things, regarding revenue to the park is, we plan on having an automatic gate system and reinstituting admission fees. But we've struggled to find additional quotes for the automatic gate system. That's why it hasn't been purchased so far. So we decided that we're just gonna have to put together a competitive bid package and put that out for bid. I'm working on that. We anticipate we'll probably just receive the one bid we've been talking to, but that process then we'll be able to legally accept the bid. I hope to have that done by first week in February if I don't get it done next week. Tanya's working on a new ad in the Texas Highways magazine for Port Lavaca that's going to focus on the campground. She's also working on a new billboard. It's kind of a filler billboard when nothing else is going on, nothing else that we're highlighting or featuring. And then that background billboard, we're gonna try to put some focus on the campground on that. And in that process, I'm working to try to find some good photos of the RV park while it had a lot of RVs in it, because it wouldn't be too good to take a picture right now because there's nobody in there. So I think I've got a couple sources where I can get some. I just probably made a mistake. So, but even with the plans underway to better promote the campground, it's going to take time to see results. The current financial situation is not sustainable. So I'd like the Parks Board to discuss the option of making a recommendation to council to reinstate the 6-month stay limit and see if that makes a positive difference. Again, we don't know if it's the rates or the stay for sure that might have been causing the dramatic decline. But at this point, maybe let's start with the stay. It's very possible we'll get pushback again from the other RV parks. And my response would be that we'll reconsider the policy as soon as we are receiving revenue from the automatic gate system. But until then, again, what we've got right now is not sustainable. Again, I've attached the monthly camp spot report, comparison and regional campgrounds that we used that meetings from May of 2024, and a copy of the changes to the ordinance that we did back in June. So anyway, I was bringing that up. I know, I've had I know there's a couple council, at least that are concerned, and we need to look at this seriously.
And I will mention that the current revenues, if they keep tracking the way they're tracking, we're not covering water usage, we're not covering power usage, and we can't cover employee fees. There's just, it's absolutely unattainable at this point to. I mean, at some point, if we don't move and change something to bring back stays, the only option would be to shut it down and be done with it.
It looks to me that all the major differences from the workforce.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got some growth in a couple months as far as vacationers go. But wasn't the main complaint from the other RV parks was the workforce?
Well, the long-term stays, yeah.
And you said the other option is to shut it down and then what?
Nothing.
And it's-
No, right, that's it, then we don't get,
Have an RV park.
we don't have an RV park, we have no money, so is that an option, really? I mean, we've put all that money in there,
We can't sustain
I understand, but if we close it down,
Paying an employee.
employee paying power, paying water for something that. I mean, that it is wholly unfair to put that burden on another fund on the residents of our city when it's supposed to be self-sustaining. If we can't sustain it, then there's.
well, I totally agree, but then we just shut it down? I mean, or you're saying leave it out there for another 6 months?
Well, I mean.
I'm trying to figure this
I
out.
think we want to just not try any changes. And clearly what's there right now isn't working.
Right,
So let's, if we go back to 6 months, is that gonna help? Right. Try that. And if it still makes no difference, we can reevaluate.
and 6 months later,
Fees again, but I mean, quite honestly, looking at the fees, they're not, once you consider the electrical, they're not really that out of line.
no,
But the fact that, we're forcing them to only be allowed to stay for 3 months, I think that may be part of the issue.
and I was thinking like what Kevin was saying, the workforce, and so we don't know what the workforce is gonna be like.
But before we didn't allow contractors to use that as a residential.
I mean, we can't tell you, you can or cannot come depending on what you're doing. What we did was we said you could only stay for 6 months. But now we say you can only stay for 3 months. So that is a difference.
What was
I mean,
the,
we've never not allowed you to stay just because you were.
Right, that would be discriminatory. I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, and we-
Just couldn't stay longer than 6 months.
No, I
We
understand.
addressed the contractors filling up the park so nobody else could use it by opening up just the waterfront sites for
Right,
tourism and nightly stays.
and we're not proposing any changes to the water.
That we need to keep the same, because during the summer, during the holidays in the summertime, those spots fill up because it's right on the beach and people want to be there.
my question would be is, do we have or can we obtain any data for the production difference with Formosa between 23 and 24? Because 24 is an election year, everything tanks on election year, we all know that. And if they didn't have no shutdowns or startups or new wings getting built or anything like that, that's gonna the stage regardless of the price increase or not. Because if they're not doing any new production or new tear downs or anything like that, there's not gonna be the workforce load that needs to be housed in that RV park to begin with anyway. So was it just a yearly difference or is it an actual discrepancy on our part, putting in a different implementation as far as time of stay and all that? So I think we would need some sort of answer on that
It's a
question.
combination of both, yeah.
I agree.
Saying all the competitor parks, if you will, for lack of a better term, they're full.
There's a lot of corporations inside of that plant that have full-time staff, and those other parks are allowing year-long stays, 2-year stays or whatever. And, to avoid that for a city RV park, I would agree with, but my main question would be, is there a production difference between 23 and 24 outside of the workforce being brought in for these plants? I don't know if we can answer that question or not. But I'm not opposed to, I guess, the 6 month deal going back just to run a test on to see. That would answer at least half of that question.
There is on this report. For those that answer, and not everybody answers these questions. For August of 23, work 22 of the reservations were work related, 3 this August.
And that's what I was looking at as well. I was just wondering if that has to do with production or the fact that the community's mad at us because we're not allowing them in there for more than 3 months.
See, I couldn't,
You know what I mean?
Right.
and I don't see a way that we could ask that question.
Yeah, I don't know how to get the answer to that. So I think to be able to answer half of that, we reinstate the 6 month policy to at least answer half of that question. You know, if we reinstate the 6 month policy and then the numbers go back up, okay, they were mad at us.
I'm not sure that statistically that would prove it either, but
I mean,
you know, I'd certainly be willing to give that a shot.
Do you want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to put the 6 months
Reinstate.
cap, reinstate the 6 month cap back in.
I second it.
We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Don't have to
6
like
months
it.
will be from January, I'm sorry, from January to June?
Now, keep in mind, you're making a motion to recommend to council
Yes.
Right.
approve this, so.
That will be then in
February.
Get it.
That's actually item 8.
I'm not in favor of throwing money into something we're not getting no benefit.
I know, me neither.
That's,
No, but we can't. You gotta answer the question before you just shut it down.
I agree, but if we keep throwing money in there into an empty hole.
Do we want to make this January to June, or do we want to make it more, just say the winter months that we could more appeal to the,
The off season.
well, it's not just off-season. I don't like to use the term, but the snowbirds.
The 18 spaces that are on water,
Pardon?
we're not doing anything, we haven't changed anything.
And the water.
Spaces on waterfront. And those, we might have one in there every once in a while. You know, I mean, we're clearly, we didn't get any winter Texans or anything this year down there, and, so, I mean, that's.
And that's the other thing on that is, the 3 months is kind of hindrance on the winter Texans, because when they come down, they want to stay. The reason they're winter Texans is they want to get away from that brutal cold that they're used to.
Right. And for most people, that would be like November through the end of April.
And that the 2 families from Canada that usually come down and stay here haven't been here for the past couple of years.
They're going to the beach for a week or 2 weeks.
Do we advertise at all?
Yeah, I mean, we have, and that's what we're working on in, doing more promotion. Yes,
I agree.
Yeah, you.
but that, again, that's gonna take time, it's not gonna turn it over.
Yeah.
Texas Monthly and the billboard ads.
And I also want to clarify that when I put out the option of shutting down, that's a last minute resort. That's after we've attempted everything we can do to appease, 1, the customers, 2, our competition. Do everything we can. If at that point we still can't sustain, then that is your final option.
Well, I feel like.
Something that'll come anytime soon.
There's no sense in putting money in it if it ain't gonna make no money.
I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, there really isn't, so, I'm sorry,
Break even. We're
Right,
not
I mean,
really making
yeah.
money, just breaking even.
there's no
Sense in that, so if our option, other option is like, okay, shut it down and shut it down.
The only thing that I'm concerned with is that we've already put in so much money. So I guess if we're gonna shut it down, the one by the water, I don't feel like that would be necessary to be included in that part. But again, like I said, we'll wait and see what happens.
yeah, again, that's a last minute resort. We want to see what happens once we get the gate system in and start drawing revenue from that. That's the other side of it. A lot of the people that come and stay at that park don't like the fact that we don't have something to keep the undesirables out.
That's anywhere. I'm sorry. Reality is, I mean, I even have a friend who lives in a gated community in Houston with security guard. And they're already living down here at at Berry Junction because I don't know how high his said his fence was even, they jump over it. So I'm sorry, I don't buy that in reality. Yes, elderly people want to feel secure, but
It's,
they want to get in, they're gonna get in.
it's not so much as a gated community. This is a system you have to pay to get in. So there's, I mean, you're not gonna drive your car around this.
Even jump over the fence, gate, whatever.
You can jump over it.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's just like walking in on a sidewalk.
Right.
The deal that these people are complaining about is people coming through there in their cars with their loud music late at night to get to the pier to go fishing. You're gonna weed those guys out because you're not gonna have the kids coming down there to check on their buddies out on the pier with the loud music playing and interrupt everybody because you gotta pay to get in.
Yep.
So at that point, most of us, if you don't have a reason to be there, you're not gonna spend money to be there.
Why are we not charging a fee to use the pier?
Well, I think the main thing is because, again,
Manpower?
we don't have a way to collect and deal with the money. Once we get the automatic gate system in, I mean, if you use the pier or the beach or whatever to get in, you gotta pay. I mean, to actually charge at the pier, I mean, again, years ago, they did that, but it was banned, 24/7 into, I don't know,
You need a little gatehouse, you need somebody that works.
whether you.
So now you can buy a car
Our gate unlocks.
and you can.
Yeah, but still, that's something we don't have in place
You can
and
buy a car online.
Well, that's what we're doing at the entrance.
Yeah.
The gate entrance,
You
but
could do that with a pier as well.
I don't know whether,
we put in a gate entrance, you don't want to double charge people to come in.
I agree, but if you buy a gate entrance, you've actually paid for the pier.
yeah,
as well.
exactly, right.
But if you just want to go fishing at the pier, you're
You gotta pay to get in, yeah.
I think Fulton charges,
$5 or $7 to get on that one. Indian Oil Fishing Marina charges $7, and you gotta buy the bait there. You're not allowed to bring your own bait. So I mean, it's not unreasonable. Nobody complains, people complain about the Fulton pier,
Well, I
but
mean, and we don't, and that's something to think about. If we were to have somebody that wanted to, establish a
I remember
bait
going
shop or something
here.
here.
fishing and we had to pay $1 per fishing rod.
yes,
So
Yeah.
5 fishing rods, $5.
I think that's what,
Not stayed as long as I wanted to,
I
but.
think that's the marina's deal too. I think that's $7 a fishing pole.
Well, there's somebody.
See, when I was
Somebody
in Corpus,
there,
we ran Bob Hall Pier, it was $3 per person, $3 per pole. You had to buy your bait and tackle from our little
Yeah.
bait shop. I mean, we serve lunch and whatever. It's not an unreasonable deal to ask for that. To help pay for maintenance on the piers. However, we don't have the manpower to do it.
Yeah. You have to contract out.
I was just thinking of other ways to generate revenue to help pay for some expenses in there, other than raising rates on the spots and 6 months versus 3 month. All that
Like I
kind of
said,
stuff.
I think once we get this gate system in, that's gonna fill in the gap. Again, and I'm not interested in making money, but just breaking even first.
You gotta pay your people.
Yeah, and that's that, but breaking even, that's to pay all our expenses,
If I,
And if we make money, that's great, we'll put that back into the park, but,
if I recall, on the entry part of the pier, there used to be a bait shop
Yes.
there.
yeah, there was, I mean, it was a
So
big, but it was a
tackle
big
and
bait,
everything.
that's when Parks and Wildlife had it.
Then the guys started taking advantage of it.
Now, I don't think they charged to be on the pier, but it was available for people who wanted to use it.
First booth here, I think it did cost something to get up, I think.
See, at one time, we talked about having a fishing school for kids during the summer. And we were talking to the Texas Parks and Wildlife about getting an instructor to come in and teach the kids how to bait a hook, how to tie a hook, how to throw a fishing reel. Just kind of get them maybe a week. But then you would charge the kids like $15 per entry.
Right, that's.
And then it's something to, if you started handling the pier, you started doing it like that, you're offering services. for kids that want to learn how to fish, which is good. But just to open it up, people abuse it.
Okay, so to put this into perspective, the RV park for salaries for December. Total salary structure, everything was $9,633. That's for 1 month.
Is that everybody that has a hand involved in the report, like?
No, that's just for the beach operating fund. That's just for Lighthouse Beach.
That's just for Jen.
One employee.
Okay.
So we go look at the month, so $9,300 for an employee for the month. We go look at what the RV park actually made for the month in August was $6,800.
Now that figure you're, for the salary, that includes all benefits or anything?
Yes, that's total everything.
Total cost of the employee.
Yes. So
So it's
we
not
are,
Direct wages that,
No, it's
No.
everything that the city offers.
right,
Workman's comp.
it's workers' comp, insurance, everything.
just wanted to clarify.
So that's not quite, but near $3,000 in the red every month,
Just for employees.
just to have an employee on site with what we're bringing in revenue right now for the RV park. Now, if we had the gated system per month, we could offset that. But that's still not counting.
The current period was $2,135. The year to date was $9,600.
Yeah, that was for December.
Year to date, but the current period, which was December, was $2,135.
So for 1 month is 2,000 or 9,000?
No, I mean, that it's running, the whole year is $1,000.
Well, needless to say, RV park can't lose $41,000.
Yeah.
A difference of they lose it, they just didn't make the revenue.
And that's not including yet people going in there cleaning it up and everything. else.
But yeah, I mean, the current period, all expenditures was $8,558.
So do we still need a motion to push it, to recommend it to council?
Oh, I thought we
We already took care of that.
already did, right, Lorena?
You motioned it and she said.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Well, there was a lot of discussion,
Yeah, no,
so I don't know if
we
that motion stuck or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go to 6 months.
I think we need to at least see if that offsets some of the revenue differences.
And again, if we get, pushback again, because that was the reason we moved, that we can just ask them, give us some time, let us get this gate system in. I think that's gonna help. Once the gate system in and we're generating revenue that way, then we can reevaluate again. We may be able to change this.
And trial is gonna be 6 months as well, right? Or how long are you gonna?
But see, that's what I was asking.
I wouldn't put for sure, I wouldn't want to change it again until we got the.
So no set period.
I
No,
would,
that's fine.
I'd say we need to sit back and reevaluate it some later date.
We were trying to push out a year in the current situation, but it's just unsustainable.
Yeah.
We don't see a way to, the experiment, all those good natured as it was, failed miserably. It's time to try something different.
You can't have a difference of $41,000. I expect to be successful. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Not even a lot of them, like. So anyway, I mean, I know we already took motion and everything, and I guess we're done, and I should have asked earlier, probably. Ma'am, on this gate that you're gonna put out for bids, you already doing it now, or you're gonna wait till the city council says, okay?
No. I'm waiting for me to have enough time to do it.
Oh, okay.
Putting-
It's a time thing, okay.
Yeah.
We're already looking into it.
What it is, the cost projected cost was less than 50,000, so we don't have to competitively bid. we can go get different, gotta have at least 3 bids. We've got a bid. We found that basically that's the only company around that even makes anything remotely like what we're looking at. We can't, we've got a couple leads on some others. Bottom line, we couldn't get any bids from them. And so in order to legally be able to, purchase this product,
Right.
we're just gonna have to, they're not on any purchasing cooperative, which they were when they could easy, we just do it, but they're not, so we're gonna have to put it out in the newspaper, competitively bid it. On the off chance there is somebody that we are not aware of that's wants to send us a bid. Once we get the bid or bids in, then we'll award it a council meeting. So my goal is to have that ready for council award in March.
So we're gonna put that expense on our 6 months too, right? I mean, where's our money coming from? The operating? Oh, we have it already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was my thing. It's like, okay, we're already broke and now we're gonna get more broke, so.
So I have a question. Are the manufacturer of those gates requiring a factory certified installer, or are we able to source that? I know you said put it in a newspaper, but
What,
like a local installer, we could just order the gate and have a local contractor put it in, or is that a factory requirement?
The only company that has sent us the bid would be buying from Company Direct, and they have their own team of installers.
Come from China?
No,
I mean, we only got one company up
they're the only company in North America. Everybody in North America buys whatever from them. There's several dealers that buy stuff from them, and then they do the installs around the country. This company does factory direct for municipalities and other government entities, and it's a cost savings for them. I did receive information back from a company in India, but they said it would be unfair for them to even stick their hat into the bidding process because they don't do business in our country, so they're not going to.
Well, you gotta get approved to come to work here.
Yeah, but you could get great tech service.
So we're going to do just put a bid package together and send it out. I anticipate even if we do get somebody else that bids on this, they won't be able to compete with the company because, like I said, they're factory direct with their own team, and anybody else that buys from them is gonna mark it up.
Just a question for warranty purposes on
So
malfunction.
we had the motion. And we had a second, and I think we voted for it.
Yes, yes, sir.
So everything is passed on that, so. Is that all on item 7?
that was 8.
Well, he actually never called it and I was gonna,
I know, yeah.
yeah,
Pardon?
That was item 8.
That was item 8.
So somebody moved into item 8 and I didn't know about it.
but we do need to call it for the record.
That's.
All right.
Fell asleep too.
Then having had this discussion about the financial reports, in Lighthouse Beach on number 7, we will now move to number 8, for which we've already had a motion and a second and a passed motion. Okay, so item 8 for the record was discuss rental rates and policies at Lighthouse Beach Campground. We kind of evolved into that from number 7.
Yes.
And so to clarify, your motion second and the subsequent approval was to recommend to council that we go back to the 6-month rental period.
Okay, and so that's the only thing we really moved on. We're not changing any of the rates that we have published right now.
No.
Or we're not proposing to change.
Just the period.
All right, with that, I think we've concluded the agenda.
I'll bring something up a little bit. The American Legion has partnered up with Tanya, and we're looking at having a Veterans Memorial Service on Memorial Day at the Memorial Park. hopefully we'll have a flag retirement that we want to invite the city to help us with. You know, and bring in some hot dogs and hamburgers, depending on the weather. We're trying to,
When Greg,
with Tanya, the American Legion has partnered up with Tanya to help us bring out, we used to have some really good crowds up there during Memorial Day. And we haven't in the
So
last
it'll be
3 or
May.
4 years. So we partnered up with Tanya to kind of help us revitalize that, and we're planning on doing something on Memorial Day at the Memorial Park, doing a flag retirement, and, you know, bringing out hot dogs, and we're trying to invite the city and get the city involved with us so that we could do something there.
What day is Memorial Day?
Memorial Day is the last day of May, and I think it's going on to
I
that.
thought it was last
Monday.
Monday, yeah.
That's
That's
what it's always
That's a
on
Saturday.
May 26th.
What's that?
It looks like if it's the last Monday, it's May 26th.
So we're trying to do that. I just kind of want to let the board know.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
That's an awesome one.
Wasted a boot.
on the 26th is fine. We won't interfere with you then. But the last couple of years, Memorial Day has fell on the same day as our Public Works Extravaganza.
Yes, sir. What we're trying to do is kind of get the public's attention up there.
Yeah.
And later on, we'll get on the agenda and bring it up to city council to let them know about that. We're kind of letting Tanya guide us into that. We've sort of gotten out of it.
Yeah, and that's something that just started this past month. So
Yes,
this is very new. I'm aware of that.
When's yours? May what?
This year it's May 24th.
yeah, that's that Saturday before. Yeah. She told us that there was something going on.
Yeah, and that'll be an every year thing.
What was the last Saturday of the month?
No, this is the last day of Public Works Week.
Um,
But hopefully we'll have a good one this year. And before DJ would put up a big tent up there, we'd fill that tent up. But here lately, we haven't had the resources and the help. So maybe with Tanya, we can generate some public awareness. And try to get all the flags that we can from the city instead of going to Walmart, bring it out. I know they go to the fire department. But if they were to bring them here, all you gotta do is give me a call, I'll pick them up and say they did that.
That's for disposal of flags.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that, so I just kind of
All right,
want
thanks.
to.
I guess when stuff like that comes up in the future under the general discussion of the first item, is probably the better time to start talking about that stuff.
okay, I make a motion to close our meeting,
We adjourn.
adjourn our meeting, I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all very much. Appreciate your being here.